Local Las Vegas, paid for by Valley Technologies, your partner in innovation.
It's a film we've only heard a little bit about, but guess what? 15 days left until the silver screen gets extra steamy like never before. But you don't have to wait that long to get a fix of 50 Shades. The sexy story is actually hitting the strip, but in a completely different way. Maria takes a look.
There's really not much to know about me. Look at me.
Move over, Dakota Johnson, aka Anastasia.
I wish I had something big.
This Anastasia is about to heat things up on the Las Vegas Strip. Well, sort of.
You know, one of the delightful things about playing Anastasia is that she is so undeniably awkward.
I've got sugar and tea.
It is truly, it's 50 Shades. It stays true to the book, and then it takes it into this parody world that has made me constantly laugh.
50 Shades, a smash hit parody, revolves around 3 women and their book club.
No one knows I'm reading porn.
The ladies help bring the book's characters to life.
I play Jose. He's Anna's best friend, and he's totally stuck in the friend zone, and he really didn't want to be in the friend zone. So for me, I'm trying to get out the whole time. So, and hilarity ensues.
Get nasty and sexy and do what you want to do.
Okay, ladies, I have some great news for you. Christian Grey, you will see him up on stage, but they're keeping the identity of the actor portraying Christian Grey a big mystery, so you'll have to come and check it out. But I can tell you, he is wearing a robe that's pretty sexy.
You see a costume next to you, but you know, it's one of those things that it's worth the wait.
We'll have to wait until February 3rd when the show debuts at Bally's Las Vegas, and the timing couldn't be more perfect given the movie's Valentine's Day release date.
My tastes are very singular. You wouldn't understand.
And you don't have to understand the 50 Shades phenomenon to enjoy this musical.
I told my mom that I got this show, and she was like, "Oh, you're playing Anna?" And I was like, "Oh, Mom? All right." And I think that's what's really fun about it, is that is that the show is more about the effect the book had on us than the book itself.
Gonna open my eyes and see all 50 shades. 50 shades.
All right, well, it's obvious the steamy romantic novel is become very mainstream and very talked about. But remember back in the day when it was like Fabio and the Harlequin romance novels? Well, is there any connection to fantasy and how we interact in our real life relationships? Is it helping or maybe hurting a person's private life? Here with more is licensed psychotherapist Dr. Patrick Scott.
Hello.
We said we want to talk about 50 Shades of Grey. You're like, I can clear my schedule. You are such a professional.
That's
Thank
right.
you. You were
That's
saying
right.
that a lot of your patients have read it and talked about it, right?
I forget when it came out, but a couple years ago when the books first came out, I had female patients, and I treat a lot of female patients in their 40s who are either divorced or looking for that special someone. And I had a woman come in and just hand it to me and said, "You must read this." And I read it, and then I read all 3 books, and it was an interesting point of view.
Yeah.
Fantasy is really important. Fantasy is fantasy. It's not necessarily reality, and it's important that we make that distinction. Fantasy doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to cheat, but if in fact having a fantasy, a sexual fantasy, and if a movie or a book or something ignites some passion in your relationship or helps you stay motivated to find a relationship, I say it's great.
So it can be used if you keep your expectations normal. I mean, if you kind of take these things and like I said, a movie or a book stimulates you and you take that back to the bedroom with your spouse, fantastic.
Yeah.
But you can't be like, my husband doesn't act like Christian Grey and, you know, sweep me off my feet and
Right.
do this and that. And,
You know, human bonding, you know, one theorist named Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages, and he says that all couples or all people have a basic human need for love, belonging, for bonding, for touch. Sex is an important part of that. Other countries tend to look at us like we're kind of puritanical.
Yeah, we're prudes
you know, that we're such
compared, yeah.
prudes because sexuality is a normal part of human interaction, and that we put so much emphasis on it, and it is such a, you know, hot, literally hot, steamy topic right now. It's really fun. I can feel myself getting a little bit red. You know, and it's fun.
There's your notes right here.
I got to look at my notes.
Let's look, okay.
And the most important thing, and I learned this a long time ago, you know, sex should be fun.
Yeah.
And that if you can use whatever tools or things back in the bedroom to help you steam it up and keep it spicy, it's really great. I remember hearing Joanne Woodward, who was the wife of Paul Newman, legendary actor Paul Newman.
Got married here in Vegas.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And they were married for 60 years. And she said in an interview, after the sexiness wears off, it's important to have someone that can make you laugh every day. And Paul Newman, one of the most legendary actors, very, very good looking, married for 60 years to the same woman, and they laughed every day. And sex should be fun. It should be interesting. And if it takes something outside of the marriage, like a novel or a movie to help spice it up, I say go for it.
It'll be interesting after, you know, like when the movie comes out in 2 weeks, if 9 months later we see a baby boom. You know what I mean? It's like, it'll be interesting. But I think that's great. You read all 3 books. And,
yes, I did.
Yeah,
did my homework.
I mean, I did too. You know, we're professionals
We
here.
are
Yes, we
consummate
are.
professionals.
Jason, you have not read it, have you? He doesn't read though without pictures.
No,
He likes
no, I
Highlights
have not.
magazine.
That's not